Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekend Rental. This is episode 69. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. As always, you can find our content and a bunch of other amazing content, whether it be gaming, movies, music, video games, and more. There's articles and podcasts just like ours over at geekade.com. What's your geek? My name is Ryan, and as always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Nate.
Howdy, folks.
All right. Second show with a new format. Third show in a row, we're going to talk about coronavirus. Fellas, brace yourselves. E3 couldn't be outdone by Jeff Keighley. They canceled themselves and are therefore the victor. Why? Too much corona. Too much corona.
Well, actually, if you read the article a little bit more about E3 canceling because of the coronavirus, it's because they ran out of toilet paper. And so where it's held, no toilet paper. They're worried about poop everywhere. And they're just concerned about sanitary purposes.
Yeah, I've loved the local Midwest fever that has ensued in the last few days over the coronavirus and the fact that toilet paper has been sold out of every... I had to go to 3 stores today to buy TP. I understand not having food. I understand not having electricity. I understand being concerned about water. Getting poop off my butt is very low on the totem pole in the eventual end of the world. I'm just... Everyone out there, E3 included, that shouldn't be your priority.
It is pretty funny, though, getting on Instagram and Facebook and everything, and everybody's just taking pictures of empty toilet paper racks. It's like, what are we doing here?
Right. But then there's always like the wall of paper towels, and it's like, well, isn't that kind of the same thing? Like, couldn't you just do that? I mean, maybe don't flush it, but you're just trying to get clean.
What's really going to happen here is people are going to discover baby wipes on them, using it as a grown-ass man, and then we're never going to go back to toilet paper.
Whoa.
That was going to be my suggestion.
Yeah.
Fantastic feeling.
Isn't it Harry's that already has like the one wipe Charlies that are specifically for that?
Oh, yeah.
It's a wet wipe
I'm not
for your
wiping
bum.
my butt with anything named Charlie. That is not okay. So when you sent me that text message about toilet paper, which apparently wasn't a thing anyways, apparently was a thing that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, but it was on the coast.
Yeah, but I instantly opened up my cupboard just because, and I was like, okay, I'm good. My wife just bought a packet. We're set for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I when I went to my local neighborhood grocery store, because I had to stop for a couple things anyway, I was like, well, I'm going to grab some toilet paper. Because people are freaking out, and it's like wiped out, and I was like, well, we need toilet paper. So then I go over to the gas station, like two stores down, and they, of course, have it, and I grab like 4 packs of this shitty gas station toilet paper, and then bring it up to the counter, and the girl like is like 15 and just gives me the strangest look, and I'm like, look, they were out at the grocery store. And she's like, really? I'm like, it's a problem. And then I like immediately ran out of there and felt
you have to justify
stupid.
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Even the small towns around here are pretty much empty now. Just toilet paper. Don't get it.
Everyone settle down. Everyone settle down.
Including E3. Well, maybe not E3, because that's a real concern. Not about the toilet paper. They are canceling because of health concerns.
Right.
Pooping is part of that, I guess, but...
I mean, that goes so far as the NCAA tournament, which is coming up very soon.
And the Big Ten.
They're just going to play empty stadiums with just family and friends. So I can imagine this is one that just is going to go down in the history books of some of the most boring TV. You don't get amped up by any noises.
Well, that's what I was like.
Basketball.
We were joking at work. I'm like, do you have like a clap track in the background? Like you have to, right? Because like how it's just going to be like, all you're going to hear is players like swearing at each other and like sneakers going, I mean, that's the game, right? Without a crowd.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They can't like let anybody go because they hired so many people. So there's still going to be security guards everywhere, all the way down the aisles.
It's going to be like the best night of their life because you're going to have like front row to the March Madness and like no distractions because there's going to be nobody to police.
So when it comes to the championship, do you run out to the center of the field and let the confetti fall? Like it's some kind of joke. Oh my gosh.
Maybe they'll like Skype in like the pep band or something like that.
Right. You know, we've seen a lot of this affect a lot of things, video games, sports, life in general. You know,
Great
and we
album.
have the Queen.
No, great
We have-
album. Life in
Oh,
General.
great album.
Isn't it
We
meant to
have
be a joke?
the Midwest Gaming Classic that is coming up in April, and
Yeah.
they're still going strong so far, but I feel like we might see a cancellation. I'm not really sure.
Well, and they did give the warnings that came out on Facebook last night, email today, that they are going to honor all ticket purchases for any subsequent year. So if I bought tickets for this year and I don't go, I can just simply use them next year. And in the event of cancellation, they said they will refund. I have a feeling now with like it being considered and announced a global pandemic and the US suddenly really getting very freaked out about it, that they're probably going to be under a lot of pressure to cancel this thing. There are states that are and cities that are issuing a cease and desist to any gathering over 1,000 people. And MGC last year pulled over 10, and they're going to be pulling guests from both coasts, major airlines. You know, I think it might be catastrophic to the show, which is unfortunate, and maybe it wouldn't be able to continue, but I'm going to be surprised if they aren't pressured to cancel this. I mean, there's probably lawyers and city councils and state governments at that level. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but
It's really sad. And to think that we wouldn't have it just because I enjoy it so much. So, and for you guys,
Yeah.
you guys have been going for a long time. And so to not
6
have
years.
1
this'll be.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would
So
be
I'm
weird.
only on, 3. So,
But
I
at the
think
same
this
time,
is-
like Nate and I were texting a little bit, and it's like I even mentioned to Andy, it's like I don't think I can go there knowing the footprint and then enjoy myself in my favorite part of that, which is the arcade hall and the retro console hall. Because I like in the midst of all that, like I'm gonna be kind of skeeved out to like grab controllers that thousands of people have been touching, and I don't know. Not that I'm worried.
which
that
is
the
never
coronavirus-
alarming.
No,
It's
and
never
it should be
alarming.
every year. There's always a con flu, right? But it's like, and I don't think I'm going to die from the coronavirus. Hell no. Like it's the flu. Let's not over exaggerate it. But I think there is like, that parent part of me that's like, well,
Sure.
it's not going to affect me, but I certainly don't want to drag this home for my children and spread it to other people that I know if I can help it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably
there's
in
still
the
some
coming
time.
weeks.
I feel like they wouldn't have put out that email if they weren't doing it as potential damage control. So
Yeah,
with E3 coming right on the heels of that, I don't know.
I feel like, the whole ticket, you can use your ticket whenever next year or whatever. It's just them kind of trying to wash their hands of it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Of
But I
the
am
responsibility of it. I don't know.
Yeah, but I am genuinely concerned that with the scale that they've grown that show to, and this only being the third year at the Wisconsin Center, if it doesn't go on and attendance is poor and they lose a bunch of money on stuff they've paid for already, I don't know that, it's really Midwest Gaming Classic is 2 dudes, right? Like, I mean, there's a bunch of people that help. Let's not pretend that it doesn't happen, but it's just a pair of guys who put this thing on and like fund it through their web store and various means. So I don't know if they could weather it, at least on the scale that it's gotten to, if it happens to be canceled now.
Yeah, it feels like it's been use the profits from last show just to barely grow it next year,
Right.
for the last decade. And if you all of a sudden just take all the profit away and say in 100% expense, it's going to be back to square one almost, you would think.
Yeah. Yeah. And you think of some of the bumbles of like last year, even where like the NES cartridges for the VIG didn't work. I'm sure that cost them dearly. The year before, some of the t-shirts didn't arrive. They had to ship them all out. So, those are nickel and dime expenses. This is like, I'm sure they've got money down that is just purely non-refundable.
Don't you feel bad for the guys making the carts for this year? They're like, okay, we're going to get it right this time. Oh, wait,
Right.
we're not giving these out.
Yeah. Well, I'd assume they would ship that for VIG people. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little nervous. It's a little nerve wracking because like I don't want to see it not happen, but at the same time, I'm not like super amped to hit it. So I'd be okay, I guess, if they did. But again, whatever. I'll roll with it. We're from the Midwest. We get flus all the time. It's fine. What I am more upset about, though, is my TurboGrafx Mini that I pre-ordered 2 of a year ago now. Just got delayed. Stupid coronavirus. Konami said that they can't meet manufacturing demand, which is a bummer because I've been really looking forward to that mini console, probably more than any other mini console. And now I have to wait a little bit more. It was supposed to ship 19th, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel that at this point, they were rejoicing for this. Just because I feel like when you have something like that going into production, it should be done and ready to go to hit storefronts by this point. So when they're like, yeah, we manufacturing demands or manufacturing hiccups with coronavirus, etc., I feel like they just bought some time because they were behind anyways.
A lot like E3 and Atari. So I feel there's a theme with certain companies here.
E3, I mean, obviously they were having issues already. And this probably is like a godsend to them a little bit in that regard.
Right.
But at the same time, the companies have, all the game companies have to do something. And if they realize that it's just as effective without it, like, there's no E3 anymore. Like,
no, yeah, actually, that's true. This is like a free pass to like really try to get the word. I mean, you have 2 companies who are going to launch consoles 100% without the E3 this year. Like, it's going to be an interesting experiment.
Yeah. Which sucks for Microsoft because I'm sure they probably had plans. I mean, they're probably already locked down on a lot of stuff. And now that's not happening where Sony's kind of been doing their own thing anyway.
You know what I wonder a little bit though, like back to the turbo thing is like, was it Hori Hori, right? Was doing all the accessories for that? Like all versions globally? Like I wonder what that looks like for them. Cause like, were they on top of stuff? Did they pour a bunch of money into all these turbo taps and extra controllers? And now, we don't know when this is coming out. Cause that's a lot of investment for an accessory company.
And I mean, they're just getting bumped from the production schedule,
Right.
Apple is going to get their phones made instead of.
Absolutely.
America's going to get their toilet paper.
Atari VCS is never going to come out.
No.
The Mini will. My never mind. No.
I'm really excited about it though. I was bummed because you pre-ordered 2 on accident, which means I'm buying one of the 2.
Yes.
And I've been genuinely excited about it. I've been very excited about the TurboGrafx 16 and the list of games and just
a hacking possibility.
Yeah, and just that whole experience that I've never had. And so I was slightly bummed that it was postponed. So
yeah,
I will eagerly wait for the phone call from you. It's here. You owe me $100 and whatever dollars.
I'm hoping it's just like a quarterly shift and like we'll see this thing by June. I mean, realistically, that's what I think this is, but because it's not like there's a ton of electronics in it. I think it was probably more just, boxes, shells, that sort of thing. Because it's basically like a system on a chip.
Right.
Goddamn coronavirus. It's killing us all.
I mean, I think we lost more out of our 401k than anything else, like compared to a mini console.
Wait, what happened to my 401k?
Yeah, stock market's like
stock market crash.
Shit.
No, did it really?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I knew about this a little bit. I don't pay attention to that stuff though. So it'll bounce back.
Speaking of dying, this just hit the news a few hours ago with our friend Reggie, Nintendo Reggie.
How are you segueing the death into this? I'm sorry.
GameStop.
Well, the death of
Oh,
GameStop,
sure, okay,
the death
yeah.
of GameStop is equal to coronavirus. If you didn't get the
Yes,
tie-in.
you're right. Yep.
But we're seeing good old Reggie,
Former
moving-
president of Nintendo of America for a decade.
Right, I feel like there's only one Reggie. You say Reggie, everyone knows Reggie.
Mhm.
Sure.
Is that not true?
In the context
Oh,
of
yeah.
this show, yes. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So good old Nintendo Reggie is.
Why'd you add the
heading-
Nintendo? You said Reggie was fine.
Okay, I'll read.
Body is ready, Reggie.
So it's Reggie Filame or
The
Phil
body.
Anime,
Reggie.
Philsame, Filet Mignon, whatever you want to do, whatever his name is.
The game is not good.
He's heading over to GameStop as a board member. I don't know what capacity per se as a board member. That is a very, very interesting move from GameStop and even Reggie to accept something like that
Right.
to a dying company. Everyone knows it. They're tanking. And I think bringing Reggie in isn't going to change that unless it turns into a Nintendo store.
Yeah, that was my first thought too, is like he's got a pedigree, and he's got a following, and he has to know that he's hanging his hat on a sinking ship that he probably cannot right. I mean, he's one of, I don't know what they say, like 12 board members. So it's mostly an advisory position. And his comments were good. He's like, he came out and said, like, the game industry needs a healthy GameStop. It needs that outlet. And he's not wrong. But what that is currently is certainly not gonna work. So I'm curious to see what these last minute changes can do with the board members. I'm curious to see what he can bring to the brand, if anything. But
I
ultimately,
feel like
just
he tainted
it's
his
not gonna-
legacy.
yes, I mean that's what. Yes, kind of what I was thinking is like
I went from
that's where he's
Nintendo
going.
to GameStop in 2020, and everyone's gonna go, "Ugh, bad move, Reggie."
Does anyone know with
Desperate.
like board of directors? Do you get paid or do
Yeah.
you get stock?
Yeah, if it's so a lot of nonprofits would be volunteer position,
Sure.
but when you're dealing with large corporations, there are board members that would get stock pay, stock options,
Okay,
or
so he's gonna get like
or
1/12 of
actual
nothing. Good for Reggie.
salary. So
Yeah, they're not paying
depending
him.
on, oh, they're paying him.
I bet they're paying
Big
him.
money.
I think they're paying him to make it look good to sell. Like I think
Yep.
they're trying to sell
Sure.
the company.
That yep. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I hadn't considered that.
But I still feel like it is one of the strangest moves. Like something, when I was flipping through the news, not what I expected to come out of GameStop. I thought it was a joke.
When you think
And
about their
so-
brand, though, what move could you possibly make that would be embraced with open arms? And this is one of the only ones, right?
Sure. Yeah, probably.
People loved Reggie. He was the face of Nintendo in North America. People still love him after he's gone. He's still the face of Nintendo. Doug Bowser, who? So, I mean, it's genius on their end. It's not going to change anything, but it's genius.
Yeah, it's like when the White Sox signed Michael Jordan to come over. Like they knew he wasn't going to change anything.
Dude, they got that new
in
tour
baseball.
bus.
Yeah,
That tour
exactly.
bus was sweet.
Pretty much.
Gosh, I forgot he played baseball. It's amazing.
I think everybody did.
He thought he was Bo Jackson. It's cute. Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like 2021 is the final year of the GameStop, but maybe Reggie can help.
We should start an office pool.
It's not a
of the
bad
death,
idea.
the death of GameStop. I think doesn't Lex and Terry do that on like a Lex and Terry
Celebrity.
radio show, like the
Yeah.
celebrity death where they plan it out and how
Yep.
it's going to die? I think we need to move that way with all things GameStop.
It's a good idea.
Speaking of predictions,
Yeah.
we had our predictions for what the Sony PlayStation or the
Price.
Sony, yeah, the Nintendo PlayStation would go
Oh
for.
yeah, good call.
So as this is how we predicted it. Ryan said $1.5 million. Nate said 1.75, and I said 1 million. And
We're slightly off.
we were slightly off. I mean, we were going by what he said he got as an offer.
Which let's hope that wasn't true, because it breaks my heart.
Yeah. I mean, the guy claimed, what was it, 1.2 million he got a offer for?
Yep, cash deal behind closed doors.
And it went for just over 300.
Yeah.
360.
360,
300.
but then Heritage is going to take a 20% cut, I'm
Yep.
sure. Taxes on that.
Yeah, it's
kind of a bummer.
I thought it would hit 500,000 for sure, but there was no action on that auction at the end.
No, I mean, usually when you see like pre-bidding for something that's going to go live, like it's just the tip of the iceberg, but in this case it was spot on. It was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
Well, I really feel that they're a little late on this move. I don't know. That's just me personally. I feel
Actually,
that they should have, if they wanted to get premium dollar for this 5 years ago,
Sure.
it would have gone nuts.
Yeah.
but you are at a point right now where both the Nintendo and the PlayStation brands are at arguably an all-time high. So the fever pitch could have been there on either side. It's just those are very opposing armies, right? So to find the guy who loves PlayStation as much as he loves Nintendo.
Did you hear who bought it?
Some Silicon Valley guy, right? Who's like presumably going to do his own like museum better than anybody can. And I heard a lot.
Yeah.
I figured some Saudi prince.
Yeah, he's going to put it on his yacht.
It was a guy that started pets.com, which was like a famous like .com bubble.
Was it the thing with the puppet animal guy?
Yeah.
The dog. Okay, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
good for him. Huh. But yeah, he was touting that he's been working secretly behind the scenes to archive stuff, and he's going to do a museum, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I
Probably
don't,
not.
even then, like, even if you charge whatever to get through, like, what is that going to bring? Well, you're
Right.
not going to ever make your money back on that.
I would have
No.
loved to have seen them not sell it and just donate it to the Video Game History Museum in Houston.
Yeah.
I think that would have been my preference, but I think anyone who is that hardcore into gaming and has been to a convention in the last 4 years has gotten that opportunity anyway. So,
I mean, the last few times it just seemed like it was like in the corner, like, oh, there's that thing.
right. Then Heck fixed it. Woo! I don't know.
Thanks, Ben.
I mean, Ben's awesome. I'm not trying
Ben
to,
and I are feuding. So.
yeah, he doesn't know what.
He's not aware of us feuding, but we've been
Right.
feuding for about 2 years.
Right. Nate's been very butthurt over his run-in with Ben Heck. So,
Wasn't great.
yeah.
Thanks
But
for
anyway.
hashing that feeling all over again.
Sorry. I mean, it is a wonderful kind, like, kind of holy grail, shouldn't even exist sort of pivotal piece in what video games had become since that point. So it is a little shocking to me that it didn't sell for more, but I guess we're talking about $300,000 for a box that literally just plays Super Nintendo and Famicom games. So
That's where I was just
Yeah.
going to go with this. That let's look on the other side of the coin. $300,000 for not much.
right. I mean, it would be different if there was a box of like six prototype discs that ran early PlayStation
Sure.
prototypes, but there just aren't.
Yeah.
You know, that's the missing piece, I think, to make the thing really pop off.
What if they find another that does work?
Yeah, it'd be sweet.
Then it's like you have the lesser one. It's like it doesn't.
You set the financial bar,
Yeah.
and now the other one's like, if you have this quality, it's only 300,000, but you could always go more.
Speaking of Nintendo and other company mashups, I don't know if you guys saw this news, but we're getting some Mario denim. That's right. Levi's.
Is there any other kind?
No. Levi's and Nintendo. April
Has to-
1st.
Yeah.
Overalls, right?
Clothing.
It has to be.
So there's a set of overalls with the back pocket spurting out coins.
Okay.
There's a badass like 80s denim jacket that I would have had when I was a kid with some Super Mario Land stuff stitched on it. And then there is a bunch of like the uber bright denim with like the, I don't know, you see it all over like backpacks and stuff like the Mario character print,
Okay.
which I can't imagine wearing if you're over the age of like 14, but that's coming out too. So presumably this will all be fairly expensive, much like their Vans line of clothing, hats
Yeah.
and shoes
Yeah.
were. I mean, they definitely had a premium.
Pretty much any collab is. Yeah.
Yeah, and Levi's is a little more, I guess, premium if you're going to compare them to Vans at this day and age. Not that
Yeah.
Levi's is premium, but
Well, it's kind of.
surprising.
I think when it comes to I think Levi's definitely it's gone up quite a bit in
Yeah.
popularity. So, I mean, it makes sense, I guess, but
There's
Yeah.
weird collectors for that stuff too. Like old
Oh,
Levi's.
yeah.
oh yeah,
That's
that,
really
yeah,
weird.
that vintage denim market. That's crazy.
Yeah.
there's a pair of like Nintendo like NES controller van knockoffs, and I almost pulled the trigger on
The
them.
black
I was like,
ones.
yes,
Yes, I've been
And I
looking
was
at
like,
those too.
they're so sweet. I see them on
Facebook.
Instagram all the time,
Yes.
like as a ad, and I'm like, I need these.
It's because
And-
the algorithm tells them we're giant dorks and we have disposable income. So it's like, please put this ad on here every time you log in.
right, we are the quintessential people for
Right.
this product.
Suckers.
And, yeah. And
Just-
I've clicked on that ad so many times.
I
to
did it
just be
2 days
like,
ago.
Yeah, me too. And so I get to the credit card part, and I'm like, no, not doing it. Just
Uh-huh.
like you and your NT, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
At
And-
least you were looking at like $60 instead of 600.
right.
Think of the ads as soon as that you're going to see after you purchase too. As soon as
Oh, for
they find
sure,
out that
yes.
There's a million other things.
Here's a Mario 3 condom. Have at it. Yeah.
It's like a warp tube.
That's actually a genius idea. The reservoir tip is just like the round like edge of the okay.
It makes the warp
yes.
noise.
Bloop, bloop. When you come.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, please invent this, somebody.
just a
So
coin.
these
every
shoes,
time.
it got so bad where I was trying to figure out where I was going to put them, because obviously not going to wear them. And so I'm like, well, I can
Why
put
are you
them up
buying
by...
them if you're not going to wear them?
Okay, yes.
If you're
why
into
are you gonna
shoes,
buy
that's
an
what you
NT
do.
when you're not going to play
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
so I was like, well, it could go up by Rob, and with all the lights and stuff around it, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Don't
this is
belittle Rob like
pathetic.
that, no.
I know. I'm going to put sneakers on him.
Yeah,
Those
that's a good idea.
NES sneakers. So
Yeah, the Levi stuff is cool, but I feel like it's mostly for children. The denim jacket, if it comes in my size, I would consider and never wear in public. But I would definitely lounge around the house. Tidy whities
just
only.
wearing a denim jacket.
Yeah, just tidy whities, no shirt, denim jacket, unbuttoned, beer in hand, watching
love it.
Army of Darkness on the couch. That's my summer right there.
Those things are going to be over a couple $100 at least. I'm sure.
Probably too much. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I buy my Walmart underwear. I don't don't really buy expensive clothes. So
Hey, they have Mario underwear at Walmart. Might not be in your size, but
it's not. No.
They're in mine.
wow.
The
14?
socks though fit. I have tiny feet.
Yeah. The epic Walmart Mario crossover is here.
It's gonna be good. There's another crossover that Andy was discussing. Television and games are meeting
Oh yeah,
of sorts.
sort of. Apparently making a very cinematic move or game must get the attention of some people to make movies, because they're making a Last of Us TV show, which sounded interesting until I heard it's just a retelling of the game. And then I was like, well, I played the game.
So I've played that, yeah.
And there's a lot of gameplay that lend into the story that you're just not going to get when you watch a movie or a show.
Also, The Walking Dead and the subsequent spin-offs and movies and all related things, not Walking Dead, but still zombie, have kind of killed that genre. Because I know they're spore people, but they're still zombies in The Last of Us. It's the same thing. So I don't know how you get people excited about another one of those, I guess.
Yeah, especially with a limited cast. I mean, it's going to be just a few
Right.
people, I'm sure.
And let's be honest, like the selling point of The Last of Us was not its gameplay, which is good. It is the fact that it is incredibly well written, voice acted, and just animated. So I don't think you can do it better live action. I don't think it's going to add anything.
No.
Other than if you're the type of person who just doesn't want to hold the controller, but at that point, just watch a Let's Play without narration because it's the same thing.
It's just servicing a good story to people that don't play games, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
That seems like what it is.
Yep.
It's like taking a book that people don't read and just making a movie.
That never happens.
No.
I mean, I'll watch this, certainly, once it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, because I don't have HBO. I'm not going to pay for HBO for this, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if you're going to pick any property, this is one of the better ones, right?
Yeah, I'd rather watch this than like an Uncharted movie, probably.
Right.
Well, it depends. I guess Uncharted could be a new story, but if they
Mark
were going to...
Wahlberg, man. That was a joke. So nobody's excited about that.
I thought you were serious. I was like, I don't know how to respond to good old Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
As far as deserving franchises, like I can't think of one that probably would line up better for this sort of treatment in recent years.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like Andy said, I just don't picture it making a big difference or adding anything to it or building any hype for another game or anything like that. I just don't think it's going to do anything for that franchise.
Right.
Yeah. Zombies are in a weird spot right now. Anyway.
Right. I'm still watching
no
that
joke.
stupid Walking Dead because my wife. It's terrible. It's terrible. You know what's coming back from the dead? 2K football games.
Hot dog.
That's crazy.
Tell me more.
It's not exciting like you'd think because apparently the deal they have with the NFL is that they can't make a realistic sim football, which is what they excelled at. And we're crushing Madden with. So they have been contracted to make various games that are supposed to be approachable and engage people with the brand. So
it's like RBI baseball too.
Yes.
The show.
Right.
Okay.
We might see like a blitz type thing or like a backyard football, but sadly Madden will get to continue to be lazy as the only game in town as it comes to sim football, which sucks.
I don't know. I bet if Madden underperforms again and then this new one does pretty well, I bet that the door's open then. I bet they'd be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's certainly potential, right? Like you could build the full roster and do the whole 9 yards and then just make it goofy, like blitz style. And then at that point, you have the engine. All you have to do is dial it back a little bit. And yeah. I mean, I was never even like a sports gaming guy, but I was always impressed with the 2K games.
Yep.
Play them on the Dreamcast. That big push they had with 2K5 when they like did half price release, like full game $30 right alongside Madden to just try and crush them, and that was what EA got pissed about because they were doing good. That was an impressive game. Like I played some of that. I watched people play it. Like super, enjoyable in-depth game of football. So it's kind of cool that they're getting to like have a shot at something adjacent to that.
Yeah, should be pretty good, I would imagine. I
Yeah.
wonder, like, because like baseball obviously extended their thing too, where the Sony team is making it for other consoles now,
Yep.
which is crazy as well. So it's like, I don't know if these sports leagues are like saying like we need this out to as many people as we can, like our brand, pretty much,
Sure.
to be the most accessible thing. But maybe those sports leagues should focus on who can watch the games instead of who can play their games.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like the 2K branding took a bit of a hit this last year with the WWE stuff, of course, but not necessarily their fault
No.
entirely.
And basketball's kind of been going downhill too. It used to be
Right.
just like amazing peak stuff, but
Yeah, maybe they'll come back hungry with football because they haven't had it in so long and do some fresh, innovative stuff. And I mean, nobody wins when there's only one game in town and it's annualized. Anything annualized in the video game realm it's going to run its course.
especially if you only have one team doing on it. I mean, Call of Duty gets away with it because they have three or four development teams on one.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a good segue too, because I want to talk a little bit about Call of Duty's Shift. There had been some leaks, and they announced it this week. I think it came out Tuesday or Monday. I can't remember exactly, but modern, what are they calling it? Warfare? They're just calling it Warfare or Warframe. What is it? I don't know. Something. I should hold on. I made notes.
Warframe.
I just put Battle Royale, so I don't even know what it's called. Something.
Just boots up a Warframe in the
Yeah.
game.
So they're doing like a couple years ago. They did a Battle Royale with Blackout. It was a mode when you bought the game, kind of like we had predicted on the podcast with the success of PUBG and Fortnite. Others were going to take note. And it seems they've like really thought about it and decided, yeah, we should do free to play also, which is what they've done. I've heard it's like an insanely beefy download, because I think they want you to launch it out of the new Modern Warfare client. So I'm assuming it's one of those things where it's like you get the full download of all of their stuff. You can play the free thing, but they're going to try and sell you on the other stuff, which will already be pre-installed. Sounds like a similar concept to what they did with Blackout, where it's just a massive map with sections that are basically maps from other multiplayer levels throughout the history of the franchise. You'll, of course, drop in, you'll grab loot. There will be helicopters and vehicles to get into, which they had in Blackout also. And yeah, free to play, like 100%. PC, Xbox, PS4. I liked Blackout a lot. So I'm curious to check this out. I haven't downloaded it yet. I'm actually probably running out of space on my hard drive on my PC, which is where I will most likely download it because I'll get the best performance, I'm hoping. But you guys,
and it's going to have the quality graphics, quality. It's not going to be kind of a chintzy mobile.
No, it shouldn't
game.
be. The Blackout felt great in that sense, where it was like it felt like a full-fledged Modern Warfare game, or Call of Duty game, but had the great shooting. It was kind of like I would say the most polished version of any of these I've played is Apex, in my opinion. So I'm hoping they've kind of upped their game a little bit to take that into account. But I haven't really heard anyone talking about it so much yet. Pretty new, and I certainly haven't had a chance to get hands on.
Yeah, I think this will probably be the real test on where that market is now. Because like if Call of Duty doing free to play, like that's pretty much as peak as you can get. You're not going to get above that, I don't think.
No, and I think Call of Duty could very much, like you were saying, well, you got 3 development studios cycling every 3 years, and I think Call of Duty could benefit from being a living and breathing entity that just gets built upon and cultivates a fan base. It could be, the more military side of Overwatch, or you could build that community and just keep it going and nickel and dime people and do the seasons, and I think that's where it probably has to go to stay relevant.
Yeah.
So just those annual releases just really, I mean, I feel like the last 4 to 5 years of Call of Duty have just been kind of letdowns.
And the last one didn't even have a story in it, right?
Right. Which a lot of people were pissed about. I remember several people a couple people I talked to mentioned that, no, I'm not playing that. It doesn't have the story. I'm like, I've bought every Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2, and I've yet to play a story. Like, I give no shits about the story. So the fact that they cut that made no difference in my enjoyment of it.
Yeah. Huh.
And not everybody's like me, but, certainly plenty are. But, I've got an archive of Call of Duty games, so.
Is it as big as archive.org?
Only played one.
Kills the segue. I set it up, he crushes it down.
Yeah, that was a block.
Sorry. Try again. Let's try again.
I forget what I even said. Archive of something.
Yeah. So archive.org, maybe people have known this for a while, but I really dug into it this last weekend, where they just have games up there to play, like old PC games that just, you hit the play button, it loads up like an instance of DOSBox and just streams the game to you. Which it's crazy that some of that isn't illegal, but I don't know. Must be old enough where people just don't care.
Yeah,
and they're just like,
at this point.
Or archive.org has had such a name that it's like, they're just a library, don't mess with them type thing. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, we were having fun playing old like educational games with the kids.
Number
Said
munchers?
No one ever. What are you guys playing? What are you doing with your children?
We did Treasure Master.
Yeah.
That one's fun.
Odell Under, or is it Odell Under?
Yeah. What is that? Something on the Odell, or yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fish game.
Yep.
Ryan never.
I'm lost.
Educational games. You got to get number munchers though.
Yeah.
I know. I
munch those numbers.
I forgot about that one.
Munch them. When I went to MGC, I spent a lot of my time munching numbers.
First time I played that game was
apparently numbers is what Nate calls cocks.
Well, when you've had that many, you just got to keep counting. When I first played that game though, it was like set to prime numbers, and I was way too young to even understand what prime numbers.
Oh, sure.
And trying to figure out that, like, just without somebody explaining to you what prime numbers mean, it just seems like random numbers. It was a nightmare. So that was a bad experience with that game. But my wife had a game called like Mother Goose Mix Up or something. And it was it's a point and click adventure game made by Sierra. And it's just going around picking things up for fairy tale characters and bringing them back. And he played through the entire thing.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
This is you and like the whole fam on the couch.
Oh, my wife was like totally into it because she was like, that was her favorite, one of her favorite games. So she was cruising with my son on that game and explaining how you save Humpty Dumpty, what he needs.
It's pretty cool though if there's like an archive out there like that just available. I mean, they got all sorts of stuff, right? I mean, it's not obviously just educational stuff, but
yeah, it's pretty much like, pretty much all those old computers, even like English computers and stuff like that, they're all on there. Commodore, there's a lot of that stuff.
Nice. It's pretty cool.
It's just crazy that you just boot it up. I think they're also starting to do Flash games, like somehow.
I heard they had archived like 230,000 of them somehow.
Yeah. So I don't know if if they're just booting up like a instance that has Flash installed and they're just.
Yeah, it's got to be just like a windowed Flash thing.
Yeah.
Which I would be super into that. Like I could go for some funky truck right now.
Yeah.
Do they also have the Tiger handhelds, or is that a different site?
Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
Somebody's got a bunch of the Tiger handhelds.
That might
like the outline of the thing, and you can get the LCD screen. And
weird.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Huh.
So why pay $20 to relive your disappointment when you can do this for free on the internet?
Yeah. I'm just going to download those and make my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts to just kind of, it's a fun afternoon.
Yeah. Well, speaking of nuts, this is Weekend
Number
Rental.
munchers?
So, of course, yes, number munchers. So, of course, I just can't blissfully overlook the fact that we are on, finally, episode 69. Prior to the reformat, I had planned on making you all play Beat 'em and Eat 'em for the 2600 as part of Byron Burn. But I thought, why not just talk a little bit about like pervy games and like, because it fits with the episode
What
number.
does that have to do with the episode number? I don't get it.
I'll draw it out for you sometime.
Okay.
Like the poor young girl in my high school class who got the number 69 book and then exclaimed, "Oh, I get it." It'll
Okay.
be like that. You'll have your epiphany,
Okay.
but not in 1997.
How about Pen 15? Can we?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't
Ryan,
get that
deep
one at all.
sigh
I was
of,
like,
oh gosh.
nobody interacted with me in school. I was so
Hey, send us
sad.
an email if you've ever been to the Pen 15 Club or been a part of that. Can you just send us an email so Ryan understands it's an actual thing?
I believe you.
So just send that email.
There
to
are
us.
thousands of us in the club.
All by accident.
I was excluded from this club, like every other club. I just wanted to talk a little bit about I think the podcast's favorite pervy game, which is of course the almighty Strip Fighter 2 on the PC Engine. You heard me right, not Street Fighter 2, audience. Strip Fighter 2. An all-female cast of fighters who just kick the living shit out of each other, which is clearly meant to rip off Street Fighter 2, but then in between each round that you win, you start off with this horrible clip art picture of, I think it's probably supposed to be a voluptuous young woman, and she takes a little more off each time, and not that much though, because it always results in an awkward wink and a whole lot of bush. But it is nonetheless hilarious, not erotic in the least bit, but I think we've all probably laughed to tears at this game and how just ridiculous it is.
Yeah, you certainly didn't ever see anything in that era, like that early or late 8-bit, early 16-bit in like pornographic games really at all, or any type of sex games.
No. And it's just so adorable how they tried so hard to make those women look realistic, and it's just so unsettling, especially with like the limited animation that they put in there.
It's not a great fighter, but it's fun. I mean, even like the gameplay, once you learn, it's completely unbalanced, but
Oh, for sure.
it's fun to mash.
Yeah. You just basically find the best move and cheese it. Because I mean,
Yep.
you're through this game in like what, 20 minutes tops.
Yeah.
It's just, and it which is perfect because it's a good 20 minutes of laughs, and then after that you're like, well, I've experienced Strip Fighter 2.
So when it came to the PC Engine, I think I was over at your house, Ryan, and you're like, hey, I got a game for us to try out. And it was, I don't think you really gave me like a preface of what the game was going to be. And so this game pops up and I'm like, okay, kind of Street Fighter-esque, whatever. And so we're battling it out. And then whoever dies, Ryan's like, hey, watch us, watch us, watch us. And I was like, what? And I'm like, oh, I get it. The name makes sense now.
And then after the third round, you looked over, my pants were on the floor.
And then he wanted to play Number Munchers. I don't understand. So it was the weirdest. He's like, I got an educational game for you.
Yeah. Yeah, which is funny because like that kind of falls in like the middle territory of like where pervy games originated. But I find it unsettling that as video game technology like became a household thing, that it only took people until the very first successful home console, the Atari 2600, to start developing pornographic games for. Like it inherently, this new medium had to have something pervy on it. And
I mean-
there were releases for the 2600. It blows my mind.
I mean,
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I think.
if you're not counting PC, it's still arguably the most like
sure.
CV console ever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't even think about PC, but you're right. Because you had your Leisure Suit Larrys and stuff before then. But
Yeah, well, and pretty much 50% of Steam now, but yeah.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, because you had like you had those games that were sold for adults in special packaging behind counters, not on store shelves. There's Beat 'em and Eat 'em, Custer's Revenge. There are some others. Am I missing?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the names of them are. There's a whole set of them, kind of, isn't there?
Yeah.
And then
then
the
not-
NES ones, of course, too.
Yes, Bubble Bath Babes. What are those, Panesian
Any
games?
Panesian games,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Which I've not experienced or played any of those. Are they even remotely? I mean, other than
Yeah.
the covers, obviously.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
don't know
poker, a puzzle game. Is there a casino game? I don't know.
Yeah, I've never even played the ROMs of them.
No, me either.
Mm-mm.
Did not seem worth it.
I think what's really interesting is, Atari 2600 comes out, and then it takes that one person that goes, I wonder what it would be like to make a game like Beat 'em and Eat 'em. Or like, I don't know, just that mentality of like you're sitting watching someone play the Atari 2600 and your mind starts going, we should make some porn games out of this. What do you guys think?
Well, and like Beat 'em and Eat 'em
It's
was
just
so
so
weird
weird.
because it's like there's like some dude sitting in his room with like his buddies and he's like playing Kaboom. He's like, you know what would make Kaboom even better? What if instead of holding a bomb, he was holding his dick? He's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, it's so bad. So bad.
Yeah. It also shows that like back then, arcade and Atari, it was like there was no real like age limit on the
No.
stuff, where Nintendo kind of reset it to be like, well, like, video games are for kids, you know?
Yeah. Well, and at least like almost nobody knew these things existed at the time, right? Because I mean, how do you even get them if you don't even know a store has them? You're really gonna be a guy who walks into your local Pomida and is like, hey, got that copy of Beat 'em and Eat 'em under the counter for me, ma'am? It's not gonna go over well.
So there's actual like physical copies of these. I've never seen one before.
Yeah,
but,
man.
Like,
They're crazy. They came in like these like fake pleather leather bound like booklets that like snap together, and
yeah.
they were never put on the shelves. They were put under the shelves at most retailers because they're pretty provocative cover art, I guess. But yeah,
They're not
full
not as expensive as you'd think either.
no.
Overall.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, more than you'd want to pay for an Atari porn game.
Well, sure. I just assume that it's such an obscure item.
Mhm.
You know, like the NES bubble or any Panesian game is
Right.
a few $100.
And it's similar in like rarity, but it's just that fever pitch for, 2600
Right.
stuff just simply isn't there.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, after that, NES, like the Panesian games, there was a big break.
Sure.
Like, what's the next thing that really, probably PlayStation 2. It was the guy game.
Laura Croft.
Well, and I was
Oh.
going to say Xbox in the guy game, yeah. And then the return of Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah.
And then, well, okay, we could back it up a little bit, though. We can go to PlayStation. We can say Dead or Alive and those breast physics.
I suppose.
I've never played any of these games.
So Dead or
I'm still
Alive is
trying
like a fighting game that is very into the breasts of the female characters. But the first one is like so hyper exaggerated that like literally if you jump, your female, the female's characters, like their breasts are bouncing like off their waist and like up over their head, like, and like coming to a settle.
What?
Like it's very disturbing.
And it takes about a minute for them to stop jiggling after you
Yes.
move. Yeah.
Yes. And then they got to the Dreamcast and they had 2, Dead or Alive 2, which the breast physics were still very evident, but slightly more realistic. And then, to your point, the PlayStation 2 and Xbox era, where we also got the guy game, gave birth to Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, which was just an excuse to get all the girls from the Dead or Alive games with their breast physics intact, and then earn skimpier and skimpier outfits to make them wear.
Yeah.
And they've stopped releasing those in the US now.
Yeah.
Because the last 3 have not come over, I don't think.
No, but you can still import them though. I know people are in that whole channel too.
Oh god.
I think they made a VR one, which of course. Yeah.
I don't need to see that.
Yeah. I mean, Tomb Raider was like they sold her on the sex, but there was never anything that was really, I mean, it was more the marketing more than the actual game, I thought.
Yeah, I think it was just like, if you're a teenage boy, wouldn't you rather stare at this polygonal chick's ass than some dude? And then you're like me and the countless other teenage boys who would like find a small cave or corner and like make it all weird so the camera would like have to pan around and like show you the front of Lara Croft and her like triangle titties. And you're like, yeah, look at those realistic boobies right there. And then they just kind of like, it became less prevalent in the games, but in the marketing materials, it just got worse, right? Like, I think by that second one, she was on the back of the box in that black bikini. And
yeah.
So it wasn't a perfect game, but they certainly were capitalizing on sex appeal, I guess.
Yeah. But
And then now it's evolved to this day to like games like Genital Joust, which probably the ultimate 69 game for really.
I don't even know what number that is.
Have you seen this game, Nate?
No, never heard of it.
So it's on Steam. Probably just Steam. It's a 4-player multiplayer cooperative game. It has several different modes, but the basis is like everyone is a giant jiggly cock and balls. But then in between the balls is an anus, if you will. And your genital jousting. So you are then trying to snake your dickhead around into the ball buttocks of your opponents. And they ejaculate. That's the thing, too. It's equal parts hilarious and horrifying to watch.
I think the sound is probably the worst part of that game.
No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
We're gonna tie you down and make you watch a Let's Play.
I got nervous just talking about it. I'm sweating over here, perspirating.
Was it which part? The ball anus or the
all of it?
The fact that got released, period, as a game. I mean, I can see it as like a homebrew, like weird thing that got passed around as shareware, but ugh.
Yeah.
So what was this released on?
Just PC. I think Steam only.
Just PC.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was making the rounds in the Let's Play scene maybe like 2 years ago. Right around the time as Gang Beasts, kind of like those weird like physics multiplayer games, and yeah. Which, I mean, you can do some 69ing at Gang Beasts also. So, you know, you just can't win.
Yeah, overall, though, there's, I mean, outside of like the PC, there's not really anything on consoles that maybe Grand Theft Auto has some nudity, but
yeah,
there's not much skeevy stuff released to the public anymore.
I will say one of the most unsettling moments I've had in recent years with any video game was jumping into when they finally launched Grand Theft Auto Online, like after the stuff got worked out. And I was joining a match with Jousting, formerly of the podcast, still Legacy Podcast, Weekend Rental, Justin. And I opened a private lobby and, you know, a friend's lobby so people could join, and I'm just waiting for him to join. So in the meantime, I was just like, well, I'm sitting here, whatever. And I park on a street corner. Well, it's nighttime. There's a hooker. So I pick the hooker up. And then, you know, you can pay him to do stuff. I was like, well, whatever, I'll just pay her. She's going to give me a knob job. And she does. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there in this like dark field and my character is getting oral satisfaction from this hooker. And then up walks Justin. He just walks right up to my driver's side window and like stands there staring in. And I've never felt so ashamed in a video game in my entire life. I was like, this is really uncomfortable, man. I was like,
What game
can
is
you
this?
leave now? Oh, Grand Theft Auto 5.
This is all
That can happen
shocking
in
to
Grand
me.
Theft Auto 5. Yeah. It was so uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable.
How did he play the same game that you were playing?
Because we were in a multiplayer online match. So like he spawned in, he
Oh.
like came over and found me because I'm a marker on his map. He just stands
Okay.
outside my window watching this all go down. It was so gross.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's
I feel like the dirtiest game that I've played was Bayonetta.
Yeah, it's pretty up
and
there.
it can be, yeah.
Two,
It was one
especially.
of those. So I played it. I picked it up on the Nintendo Switch when it was 1 and 2.
Yeah.
On that was quite some time ago, a couple of years ago, maybe. And Ryan's like, "Hey, check out this game. I think you'll like it." And it's a great game. It plays so well. It's a crazy game. And it was that opening scene. I'm sure I've talked about this on the podcast before, but that opening scene where Bayonetta's hair is strategically placed, or you don't know if it's like her hair or her clothing, and the way it's like wrapping around her body and unwrapping. Kid you not, like I'm starting to play and my eyes are like, what is happening? And my wife walks
Oh, no.
down immediately and she goes, "What kind of games do you play?" And then she like turned around and walked away, and I was like, "It's not what it looks like."
It's
I
exactly
promise
what it
not.
looks like.
It's not what it looks like.
Both of those have like horribly pervy openings too. The
Yeah.
second one more so. Like that weird like slow-mo flip forward on that horse
Mhm.
centaur thing, but the first one is still pretty dirty too.
I mean, it doesn't show anything,
No, but it doesn't leave much
but
to the
it's
imagination.
very
It's
strategic.
They're putting the camera in some spots.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It is a great game though.
I mean, the guy game, I mean, since it's illegal to actually own, since it's child pornography now, but have you played BMX Triple X?
Yes, I bought it. I have it
Okay.
on GameCube, I think, and Xbox.
Okay,
What a
I
shameless grab.
yeah, I never played it, and then I just saw the Giant Bomb did it on a premium thing because they're
Yeah.
like, we can't put this on YouTube or Twitch or anything, and it's like, yeah, instead of getting the cool videos that you get in skateboarding, you just get strippers on a bike.
Right.
It's really
How do we make Tony Hawk and Dave Mirra more edgy? I know. Strippers.
yeah.
It's
And they
got
said-
alternative cover art too. Hold on, you guys. Oh yes. Listen, the podcast isn't gonna be able to enjoy this, but so here is the cover art for BMX Triple X. But then on the opposite side is the cover art for BMX Triple X.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a whole pinup.
Huh.
Yep. That's a thing that happened.
I
And I love that it got released on a Nintendo console too.
well, and it's the most. All the other ones are censored. GameCube one is the dirtiest one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I have not played it because I guess why would you? I bought it as like a joke because I was like, oh my god, I forgot that they made this thing, but maybe I'll have to.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Straight up nudity on.
Yes.
Nintendo.
There's
It's
actual
weird.
videos, like video nudity.
Yeah, it's you get the whole strip experience, strip tease.
Cool. The slogan on the back is "Keep it dirty."
Yeah.
We'll show you
In
things
this
you ain't
clear
never thought
Nintendo?
possible.
I don't think anybody at Nintendo knew what was going on, or they probably don't. Maybe they don't know that XXX means that in Japan. I don't know.
Like nobody, like they don't look at these games and say, "Okay, yeah, let's not do this," or "Let's do this."
I think
That's
this
so
was the era
surprising.
where Nintendo was at their height of like, we just need to get back market share. So we're
Yeah.
gonna allow this.
Because they were saying like the PS2 version has black bars. Like,
Could be.
yeah.
Like there's a picture of a pimp on the back and it says "Bust a nut laughing!" Exclamation
Oh my
point.
gosh.
Create your own hard-bodied BMX honey. Give 'em all the jiggle you want. Sold.
All right.
There is one of us here on this podcast that owns a Mega Touch too, which I think is
I
can be pretty pervy too.
I bought a Mega Touch because I love Photo Hunt, and then immediately, as a parent, had to figure out on the internet how to disable the erotic games because I have kids. They like to play with a Mega Touch, and I was like, this is not gonna end well. The funny thing is before I had disabled that completely, on the day we got it home and we're testing it because the guy had left all that on. My wife and I, the kids were downstairs watching like some Disney movie. They were a few years younger. And we're playing Photo Hunt, and then we're playing some other stuff. And we're like, well, whatever. We got the high score in Photo Hunt, so let's play like, what is the male version? Is it Chip and Dale's Photo Hunt? It's like, whatever, just as a laugh, let's play Chip and Dale's Photo Hunt. We could not lose. It was the longest game of Photo Hunt I've ever played, with all these like topless construction worker dudes and like tight jeans. It went on for like 25 minutes. We of course had the high score, and then I was like, nope.
You enjoyed it.
Never again. But the best part of those with those like Mega Touches is like, there's always the eventuality that you're going to get somebody that has like a fourth nipple. And those are always like the best photos, because you're like, extra nipple. Got it. Can't fool me, Mega Touch. I never understood that though. Like who goes to a bar in a public place and is like, let me play a porn game.
I've seen it before. It's
gross.
But it's the type of person that you would imagine.
Expect, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why I promptly disabled, and they will stay disabled, because I don't need extra nipples in my life. Just regular
standard set is fine.
3-legged dogs in the standard Photo Hunt. I'm fine with that. 2-nipple household. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered pretty much the whole spectrum there. I guess Flash games, Newsground was huge into porny games too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that stuff.
Weird hentai things.
Yeah.
Which all made their way to the Vita for a while then, and now are on Steam. So.
Yeah.
The cycle of perviness has continued. We'll be doing this same topic at episode 169, 5 years from now, where there's actually like penis controllers that you slide on for your VR, and it's going to be the thing.
Oh my gosh.
We'll live this thing out.
I guess the Res thing is pretty pervy too. The Res.
How so?
There's the vibrator.
Oh,
controller.
yeah, I forgot about this. Yes.
That pulses to the beat of...
But you don't slap it on like your dick, do you?
No, well, it's just a cool toy. That's what they say. It's just a thing that it vibrates to the beat. It's really cool, but it doesn't explain how you should use it. It's just open-ended on how you should use this vibrating stick.
Sure. I mean, I don't know that would be a game plan to successful gameplay, but you could do it. Forgot that they did that. It was Japan only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. We're on the cusp of like perverted video games going in a very scary direction. I watched a video before we started the podcast on Disney's stunt robots, where they use now for like motion capturing and stuff. Disney has developed like full animatronic human-sized robots that they like flip through the air and like have Spider-Man moves and stuff happen. They like auto-calibrate their bodies and things, and I'm like, this is the end. Coronavirus takes us out, these Disney robots take over.
Yep.
69 and all over the place.
Do they own Terminator yet? I don't know.
Probably. I'd have to look, but yeah, they own everything. They own our soul. They own this podcast. Which needs to end.
I can make that happen.
Okay.
I really don't even know how to follow up what we just talked about.
Nobody does, right?
I'm like, well, how do you transition out of this? If you've heard enough, no, we appreciate you listening to the podcast, making it all the way to 69 with us. This has been a good relationship. I really appreciate it. Send us some questions. Send us that Pen 15 Club, whatever for Andy's
We're
sake,
going
for
to call them for
validation.
this episode Questyums.
Gross. You can send those emails to weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you check us out on all our social medias as well. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com as well as geekade.com. And as always, be kind, rewind.
Bananas.
Pen 15? Oh, I get it.
Munch those primes.